Hey, welcome back to another video. So this week we're discussing pink slime and what's really in the beef that we're eating. For this discussion, I'm using a scene in a futuristic series called Upload, where the prominent protein is, well, something non-nutritive. Of course, there are many unwholesome products in our foods these days, but today I want to focus on meat fillers, the legislation of food, and the media as it relates to free speech. So let's get into it. Have you seen the series Upload? In that world, technology controls everything, even what you eat. It sounds like science fiction, right? But in real life, something just as settling has been happening with our food supply. Today, we're diving into the pink slime conspiracy, what it is, the lawsuits that it triggered, and what it means for food security on your plate. Now, here's that scene that I've been talking about. Let's watch it together.
Discount day coming. Everybody wants to print a ham at the same time. We can sure use the help in slapping teeth.
That's the pork slab. Completely boneless.
Now, we used to cram the pigs together to increase the yield per square foot, but we had to pump them with drugs because they kept getting cancer. We realized, cancer grows faster than any other part of the pig. It's just farmed out.
That giant blob is pig cancer?
Tastes the same.
Yeah, I miss the animals, though. Pigs had a lot of personality when you got to know them. Pig tumors, not so much.
So, how did we get here where we're eating this kind of stuff? Well, to be honest, the laws allow it. Let me explain. This meat controversy didn't just stay in the kitchen, it sizzled all the way to the courts. Now, while in March 2012, as much as 70% of ground beef sold in the supermarket contained the lean, finely textured beef or the pink slime, there were other groundbreaking lawsuits that set the tone of the future of food legislation. And so we're going to touch briefly on those further on in the video. Just suffice it to say that in 2012, the media disclosed that our meat was made of pink slime, and ABC got sued. And by 2018, Food Safety Inspection Service declared that the pink slime product was good as ground beef, or declared it ground beef. Here's the kicker. In the US, the meat, pink slime, can legally make up about 15% of ground beef without any special label. And in 2018, the USDA went a step further and reviewed and determined that the beef product, pink slime, meets the ground beef definition under the law. Now, Canada took a bit more of a cautious route by banning the ammonia treated version, but the country does permit the citric acid version. So basically, different rules, the same burgers. Now, Canada's standards of identity in 2024 identified finely textured meat as processed meat product made by grinding the meat so finely that most of the bone and cartilage are removed. To legally count as finely textured meat in Canada, it has to meet strict criteria such as it cannot have skin, there's no more than 0.15% calcium, since that means there's extra bones, and the bone capacity has to be about maximum 20%, and the pieces cannot be bigger than 1.5 millimeters. As I mentioned earlier, there are lawsuits that laid the groundwork for food justice practices that led to the pink slime prominence in our food. In 1995, the Auvil versus CBS 60 Minutes case, where apple growers sued and lost because they couldn't prove falsity. And then in 1998, Oprah was sued by Texas Beef about the Mad Cow episode, and they lost. And then in 2012, ABC aired the Pink Slime series. And because of public pressure, BPI had to close over 600 plants. Now, in 2017, after the episode was aired, there was a lawsuit that ensued, and Disney, the parent company of ABC, disclosed that they had to pay out a settlement of $177 million to BPI. And so that's how Pink Slime got into our supermarkets. So let's explore the lawsuits a little bit deeper. So the Ouville and CVS lawsuit. This was about the apple growers were using this product called alar, and it is a chemical plant growth regulator, and it's under the brand name the minoside. This LR expose also addresses the low pace of which the government was recalling the chemical, and so everybody was upset. Now, in this lawsuit, the courts were required to prove that the claims were being falsified, but they couldn't find any claims that they were because the apple growers were using the product. So this caused uproar, which shows that it's hard to silence reporting on potential food risks. However, it also led to about 13 US states having food disparagement or veggie libel laws that enable suits about settlements and about food safety and quality. As I mentioned before, in 1998, the cattlemen in Texas sue Oprah Winfrey under the Texas food disparagement law after her mad cow episode. Now, the jury unanimously sided with Oprah, giving free speech the win at that day. Now the law stayed on the books and showed that when media digs into these things, lawsuits are gonna fly. Now the implications of this case were that it's really, it might be possible to sue the big meats or big protein, but it's gonna be costly. The BPI versus ABC lawsuit, this was where ABC was sued because of the pink slime episode. And so, even though the case was settled, ABC still stands by their claims because they were true. They were not, they made no retraction despite settling, and they are standing on business. The episode right now can be found somewhere on YouTube or wherever streaming is happening. So the implications of this suit signal that the risk averse media would not really want to cover certain things. They would think twice before approaching aggressive food investigations. And therefore, that meant that we had less transparency as consumers. While the lawsuits encouraged free speech about food safety, on the other hand, the ABC settlement shows that it can be really expensive and it can be difficult. It takes a really long time for the media to challenge powerful food industry. And that causes fewer journalists to be willing to dig into what's really in our food. Now, for us consumers, it means less transparency, as I mentioned. We may be eating products like pink slime without clear labels or the ability to make informed choices. Let's zoom out. Why does this matter in the bigger picture of food and food crisis and food security? Well, the lean, finely textured beef was originally marketed as a way to stretch meat supplies and keep beef prices low. Without it, analysts predicted that we need over a million more cattle to replace the lean beef provided. I'm just going to freestyle a little bit here and say everywhere you go, there is a McDonald's, a Burger King, and Harvey's, Wendy's, and Carl's Jr., all these burger places that are popping up all over the place. And there's just not that many cows. They're all filled up. They're all got people, just in and out all day long. McDonald's making record numbers every day for 50 years. Where's the beef? Where's all the beef coming from? Anyway, while the pink slime solves an industry supply problem, it creates a consumer trust problem. If we zoom out further and ask ourselves, you know, why do we need to eat this? Can we not secure vegetable products or alternatives that are not overly processed refuse? It makes you wonder, what are we missing here? See, if we don't know what's in our food, how secure are we really? That's why more people are turning to homegrown foods and vegetables, local farms, or even grinding their own beef bought from local butchers. And it's reclaiming trust, not just calories or cost. For food security and homegrown food advocates, please understand that this isn't about panic. It's about informed choice in a food crisis era where prices push processors to maximize yield and greed pushes profits. So, some steps to take to secure organic meat include asking your butcher for single muscle grind and ask for the no trim blends. Look for store ground or, from whole cuts and request the cuts. At home, substitute beef products with plant based protein to reduce the need for beef or other meat. And buy in bulk when you find a reliable, trusted source. Process and store your meat for later. You can check the dehydration video that I've linked here. Just it's going to be popping up somewhere here. Now, in Canada, if you really want to avoid finely textured meat, um, ask for the no FTM explicitly. And also consider home grinding or homegrown local producer relationships. What do pink slime and lawsuits against Oprah or ABC teach us? That our food system isn't just about nutrition, it's about power, speech, and transparency. Our real world is shaped by policy, lawsuits, and labels. And if you care about food security, share this, ask questions at the counter, and support homegrown food. Like an upload, reality is starting to feel stranger than fiction. But awareness is power. So ask your butcher questions, support local farmers, grow something, even a few herbs in your garden or on your balcony. Because in this food crisis area, homegrown food and informed choices are the best defense. So thanks for watching. If you like this content, leave a like and subscribe for more. Do you think that food reporting should be protected at all costs, or do you think that the industry has a right to sue for reputational harm? Let's talk about it. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Also, check out the last video I uploaded about canning food, and check out the link in the description to get yourself a copy of the 10 foods that you can process from store bought. As always, be good. Be good to yourself. Be good to your guts. Be good to each other. Be well. Keep blooming and be blessed and blissful.